Hey, mister.
Hey.
Mister, go away.
Madam, if you should slip, the umbrella that's over your arm, open it. It may slow your fall. No. It's only bad luck if you're inside, lady. Take a chance. There's the man. Reach up for him. Slowly. Leg up. Other leg. Careful. Fine. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Operator, say, would you send somebody up to the 10th floor? The complaint department man is hanging from a window ledge up there.
Who is it?
Peter Gunn.
Thanks for coming.
Sure. I enjoyed your show, Mr. Hall. Mr. Holland?
I'm sorry.
No, thanks.
I'm trying to think of a subtle way to say my wife's trying to kill me. I really don't know what to do about it. Any suggestions?
Well, I'll need a few more details.
Details. All right. Well, it was difficult to say when it began, when it started. We've been married, I don't know, a little less than 6 years. The first three and a half years were very good, all things considered. I can't really put my finger on the exact moment. I probably wasn't even around when she made her big decision. I'm sure that it didn't just happen overnight. The whole thing is predicated on the last couple of years. You know, I was afraid this wasn't going to be easy to tell. It certainly isn't. In order to give you details, I have to go back over the last 2 years. 2 years, which are almost impossible to explain. 2 years ago, something happened to my wife. In the beginning, it was nothing specific. You know, we all have our moments when we're depressed. We're anxious. We don't feel like talking. And in the beginning, it was nothing more than just that. Little by little, day after day, her anxieties became worse. She grew more and more depressed. Sometimes this no talking bit would last for hours. I mean, literally hours, when she wouldn't open her mouth. No matter what I did or what I said. I know I'm not the easiest guy in the world to get along with. I've got enough complexities for 3 marriages.
You tried everything?
Everything I could think of.
Talked to a doctor?
No, not a doctor. 6 doctors. Every place I'd open in Chicago or Detroit or Los Angeles, an Ann would come along. I'd usually find myself copying some long, hysterical plea with some eminent psychiatrist or analyst. And then, of course, there were the times when Ann didn't come along. And I'd get those letters, the anonymous typewritten letters. They were frightening.
Frightening in what way?
Because she'd written them.
You said anonymous.
I also said typewritten. I own an ancient portable with several outstanding characteristics, like a tilted A and part of the D missing. This was the last one.
The sins of Danny Holland shall not go unpunished. A fiery hell shall be your reward.
Pleasant?
The A's are tilted. Some of the D's are missing.
All of them mailed from New York.
Has your wife seen a doctor?
Oh, well, I think that's when things really came to a head. When I suggested that she should see a doctor. You know, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. But say to your wife, listen, honey, I think maybe you're losing your mind, so why don't you go see a good psychiatrist? I'm making jokes. Of course, I didn't say it that way. I said it every way but really saying it. She managed to get the idea, though. She went wild. I mean, literally wild. From that minute on, you can't imagine. She was almost like an animal. A lurking, suspicious, terrified animal. Then there were the long stretches when she seemed perfectly normal, as if nothing else had ever happened. She'd walk around with a little girl's smile on her face, and everything was goodness and light, and she was kind of untouched. And then that one little thing, you'd never know what it was, snapped right back into herself, into that terrible world, and she just couldn't be reached.
How did she try to kill you?
A couple of times. I don't really have any proof. Once it was the coffee. When I'm writing, I drink literally gallons. Well, this one time, it was the first potful in the morning, and it tasted bitter. It was much too strong. Well, I watered it down, and it still wasn't right. I was miserably ill all that afternoon and night. Well, I didn't think much about it until, well, a couple more things happened. Well, it started getting tough to write them off as simple accidents. So one time, I was sleeping. I'd taken a nap after quite a hard day's work. I don't know why I woke up, what woke me up. The gas was on, the fire was out.
Fire burning when you went to sleep?
I wouldn't swear that it wasn't.
Cold enough day for a fire.
Yeah.
Well?
Ann seldom goes out without leaving a note of some kind, saying where she's going. There was no note. The telephone was off the hook.
Maybe she just wanted to make sure that you had a good rest.
There was a piece of paper stuck in the doorbell.
Same answer.
I know those answers. I've been using them for quite some time. I'm running out.
A week after the gas incident, I was nearly hit by a car. You own a car?
No.
Wife drive?
No. But instead of keeping a business appointment, I came home. Ann didn't hear me come in. She was on the phone. I can almost quote the conversation verbatim. It's not a good idea for you to call me here. There'll be other opportunities. He'll be gone this time for 6 weeks, and it can happen then. And don't call me again until he leaves next Tuesday. A few little endearing remarks that I'm in no condition to repeat. I was followed all last week.
What do you want me to do? I'm a confirmed coward, Mr. Gunn. I'd rather not die just yet, and things are getting so critical, I need someone to make a few decisions for me. I'd like to be saved, but I don't know what to do about Anne. Who is it?
Phone, Mr. Holland.
All right. Just a minute. Excuse me, I'll be right back.
I'm an obsessive coffee drinker, Mr. Gunn. Danny hates it. How long have you known Danny?
Oh, about a half an hour.
What is it you wanted to see me about? Who are you?
Mrs. Holland, Danny hired me to protect him. He seems to think someone's trying to kill him. When he told me you were in town, I thought maybe you'd like to know about it.
Have you got a cigarette? Thanks. Did he say who he thought it was that was trying to kill him?
Yes?
Me?
This is the music
Yes.
of Shelley Berman, coming to you from Billy Bain's Riverbrook Casino, 6 miles west of Wilmington on Highway 88.
What do I do? He's sick. He's so sick, Mr. Gunn. And it's getting worse. And I don't know what to do. He has so much talent, and he's sensitive. And confused. My God, I just can't. I'm sorry. Scare her. I'll ruin it.
Oh, that's all right.
Thank you. I don't usually come apart like this. But you have no idea what it's like loving someone the way I love Danny and watching this terrible thing happen. Feeling completely helpless.
Why don't you tell me about it?
I don't think I'm capable anymore. I've talked to doctors, and I've talked to Danny, trying to get him to see the doctors. I've gone over it and over it and over it, trying to put it into some kind of reasonable continuity, but it's so unreasonable. It's so nightmarish that I just end up like this. It's not a very pleasant story, is it, Mr. Gunn?
Interesting. Very interesting.
Well, I hated to bother you this late, Doctor, but I've never run into anything like this before. He had me completely convinced. Then I talked to his wife.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's only an educated guess, Pete. But I say your concern is very realistic.
Which one is lying?
No way to tell without seeing him, talking to him. But in view of what you've told me, I'd say your liar is potentially dangerous.
And the one who's telling the truth?
Should be extremely careful.
Mrs. Holland? Mrs.
Danny.
I killed him. I killed the man you sent to follow me. And I killed the man you were supposed to meet at the hotel.
Oh, my God.
If you want to get rid of me, honey, you're just going to have to do it yourself. You're crazy. You're crazy.
Danny!
Yeah, they're our matches. We got them on all the tables. We come out at the bar when we sell a pack of cigarettes. Why, Lieutenant?
Just wanted to make sure.
Lieutenant?
What happened to you?
Hmm?
What happened?
Oh, it's nothing serious. What are you doing here?
You know an old panhandler named Frank Cannon?
Yeah, why?
He was killed in an alley. This was found near his body.
How was he killed?
He was hit over the head with a brick.
Thank you. And now it's my very great pleasure to introduce you to one of the nicest guys in the whole business, and certainly one of the funniest, Mr. Danny Holland.
There. You see? A classic example of the conditioned American public. You're brainwashed. I'm introduced as a comedian. What happens? I come out here, I stand up, I do absolutely nothing, and you laugh. Did you ever stop to consider when he called me one of the nicest guys in show business and one of the best talents, that he just may be a pathological liar? Well, fortunately for you, he was telling the truth. You take one step toward me, and Roscoe here is going to fill you full of lead. Took a step, eh? All right, Joe. I warned you that if you took that step, you were definitely going to get it, didn't I?
What's that?
My handkerchief.
If you are all terribly quiet, you may become aware of a kind of subtle din which pervades this room. That is caused by a ventilating machine. What is happening is this. Every time you breathe in, you take in a whole sklunch of oxygen, which you retain, and you let your corpuscles ad-lib. When you breathe out, you blow out a big, poisonous bubble of carbon dioxide. Now, that is poisonous to us, but not to flowers. Flowers, in the process of photosynthesis, and this is, of course, when they are manufacturing chlorophyll. And isn't it odd that in spite of chlorophyll, some flowers stink? Flowers, in the process of photosynthesis, they breathe in carbon dioxide. And they blow out oxygen. Which we're all waiting around for, like vultures. So, it all boils down to this. No matter how mean or rotten or sinful you have been throughout this day, every time you breathe out, you make a little flower happy.